So Glenn Greenwald criticizes Lauren Wolfe, formerly of the New York Times. Lauren Wolfe had just nonstop, complete adulation for when Joe Biden's plane had landed. She said she got chills. And then she's going to criticize how come the Air Force and the Army wasn't there to protect Joe Biden. And maybe she got chills not out of admiration, but maybe she got chills because, oh man, he seems kind of vulnerable on a private plane. You know, so what? Glenn Greenwald criticizes her and says that Lauren Wolfe has a perspective and therefore she's not a good journalist or something like that. I don't know. They're pro-Biden. They're pro the Democratic Party line. And then the New York Times are going to fire Lauren Wolfe. And now Lauren Wolfe is out of a job. So, what do I make of this? I don't know. Let's listen to Glenn Greenwald for a second.
Or did the Chinese write that?
So I think what this points to a broader media pattern that has been going on for many years in the United States, and it's reflective of the United States government policy as well. The United States government is partners and allies with some of the most brutal and repressive dictatorships on the planet, and that's long been true. And whenever those governments that are perceived to be allies of the United States or in some way favorable to the United States engage in brutal human rights repression, Saudi Arabia, Egypt, the Gulf states, for example,
Cameroon,
the media tends to ignore it or downplay it, whitewash it, and instead we get a lot of focus on the human rights violations in countries that are perceived to be enemies of the United States, like Venezuela or Russia. In the case of China, they're in bed with Wall Street. A lot of people perceive China in a positive way, and that's what's going on.
Yeah. Hold that thought. Hold that thought, Glenn.
So there's Glenn Greenwald, badass for 20 years. He's like David Sirota, only he's effective, only he actually, okay, so this could either go one of two ways. Maybe Glenn Greenwald had an effect, maybe he didn't. Glenn Greenwald is not on the New York Times, editorial board, so he didn't actually fire her if his tweet had some, influence on the thing. Good. That means she was biased in pro-party line and what have you. And it's the New York Times. It's a big corporate media. Lauren Wolfe, go independent. Find, another newspaper to write. I'm sure you'll find something else. I'm sure you'll bounce back. So, yeah, either way it goes, I don't, Glenn Greenwald, did he get her fired? Who gives a shit? Who cares? He's not the New York Times. He didn't literally do it. And if he influenced some people to do, to basically, if the New York Times, because I feel like that's smart of the New York Times to do that, because the New York Times, it seems like the readership is Democratic, and a lot of people make it seem like it's all about the Democrats. And so if the New York Times is just going to echo the Democratic Party line, well, they don't want that. That's a terrible look. They don't want that. So that's actually a good look for the New York Times to get rid of anybody that's, clearly just pro-Biden, loves Biden, thinks he can't do no wrong, and just wants to venerate him and, put him on a pedestal and deify him like he's a god, right? Like he's a Roman Greek god of war and agriculture. Anyways, Glenn Greenwald, Lauren Wolfe, I think it's supposed to do about nothing. I can't care about this. Anyways.